So my name is Ava. My business is a jewelry design business. It's called Ava Jewelry Designs. And I established it in Geneva where I learned how to create pieces. So I was trade finance officer, and I also was in a bit of finance, and then I worked for a company in import export. But it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. I was a very creative person, and it was kind of the creative flow was overwhelming for me to stay in a job where it was very squared and everything. So I have been apparently interested in fashion design ever since I was a really little child. And so I've always liked to create. The reason why I didn't do it at first was because my parents advised me to do something that was financially more secure. And it caught me anyways when I was an adult because you can't go against your nature, I guess, you know? So it's really something that came in naturally, and once I got independent to do it, I just went. When I started it, it was scary, but very exciting at the same time because it's a whole adventure. It's like jumping off a cliff, but also knowing that everything is going to be okay as long as you gain momentum, you keep momentum, and you keep that leap of faith you have from the beginning, that dream you have. It always works out somehow. So it was scary. I can't deny it, but I was really happy. I was happier doing the creative work and working on designs, learning how to do smithing with a mentor in a workshop in Geneva. So it was all the creative process that nourished my soul and, helped me just gain that momentum. So the first piece I learned to do was a little bowl, how to make a bowl. And as I discovered how to make it, I thought it was a really cool shape to exploit. And I like round shapes, I like geometrical shapes. And since I was raised in Europe, I was influenced by the Bauhaus movement. That's a movement that was born in Germany. It was a school in Germany. And I lived at the borders of Germany, France, and Italy. So I had all these influences in the style I adopted. So the bowl, I started to make rings out of the bowl and earrings out of the bowl. And then it started to become my signature brand. So now on most of my pieces, you can see that little bowl. I mean, it's here on my necklace. And so it's just representing that offering you Tibetan bowl that serves as an offering. So it's a sign of generosity, giving and receiving. And it's femininity. It's shaped. It's got shapes. And also it's, for my integrity of design, never forget where you started. And it's still true to how I create jewelry today. So that integrity part was really important to me. So I think the creative process I go through is probably what I've seen different from people I work with, my colleagues, also competitors. I don't like that word, but it's colleagues, let's say. And so I am into artistic research. So what I'm going to do if I create a new line, I'm going to go in a workshop, it's going to be like a lab, and I'm just going to play. And I'm going to take that time to play around with metals and shapes and soldiering and kind of seeing, I'm going to start with a theme, and then it's going to be dragged towards different models around that theme, and then I'm going to choose what I'm going to keep for that collection. So there's an artistic research done on metal and different shapes and different materials until I get something that I'm like, okay, this is where I want to go, that is where I want to go. And I think it's everybody has a unique creative process, and that's what makes all the designers so different from one another, and that's what makes the whole jewelry business so rich, although very competitive. When I started, I didn't realize how precise you need to be in managing your finances. how to invest, where to invest, what to buy, how to create packaging. So all of that I had to learn by doing. So that was challenging in the beginning because of course I made mistakes, and that's how I learned, right? So, but and the other challenges were this year. I mean, COVID has been a great challenge for small businesses like mine and everything. But it's again that leap, that momentum, that faith that will keep us going, I think. But the challenge is always there. There's no resting when you have a business. There's no real rest, but there's so much love that it fulfills the tiredness and everything. We just go on, right? So, yeah. So I'm a dreamer, and so I'm probably gonna meditate, or I'm also very spiritual, so I'm gonna go into meditation, prayers and everything, and let inspiration come to me. And that is the dream of creating something of imagination. It starts here. It starts here, and then it kind of comes into the mind. And with the help of like the meditation, there's like some inspiration that comes in, and then when I can imagine, I can realize, I can create. It's slower than last year. It's much slower. Sales are slower, but I remember that last year when I had no time for myself, I had no time to create. My friend told me, well, maybe you need this, maybe you need that. And I told her what I need is time. I would like to buy time right now. And that's what I'm doing with COVID. We're buying time. It's costing materially for the business, but we're gaining time and energy to introspect and see where it is we want to go. What is it that we want to develop? What is important to us? And when you're busy all the time, you can't do that. I can't. I couldn't. So I found it hard. Every time a collection that I imagined, that I dreamed of, is born, every time it was that. I love to, I was in a department store back in Geneva, and I would go there all the time, and that's how I had visibility and clients got to know me. And although I'm so appreciative of the compliments, and even today receiving messages of, I love the pieces I wear and everything, that's just so fulfilling. The birth of pieces that you dreamt of is something that is, I get moments of epiphany about it. So it's really nice. It's been great. The Merchantile has been one of the first shops that I approached as I got here, and it's one of the shops that I like to stick to because of its spirit. Yeah, no, for sure, for real. And also, like, I love the product. So I'm also wearing a dress from the merch.
The merchandise, huh?
Yeah, and everybody has been very nice to me here. Every designer, customer that I've met when we could come in has been very sweet, smiley, nice, supportive. So it's a really nice little supportive hub. It's very inspiring. I love it. My biggest advice, the first thing to do is sit down and write why you want to do this. Why you want to do this in the sense of the positive aspects that inspire you, but also there are ugly things that can be the reason why you do things. For me, it was being frustrated. For example, it's not ugly, but it's darker than being like, oh, I'm so inspired. But those are both positive aspects, and negative aspects of why you're going to enter a business are really important to put down and realize, so that when you have a challenge, you know why you're doing this on a positive aspect, but also why you got out of what you did before. Just as a reminder. But I tend to forget. Like, you cleanse, you clean your heart and everything, and then you forget. But then when it's written down, like, well, I'm here because I wasn't happy before for reasons. You don't even need to tell people about it, but for you to know, to remind yourself of why you're there. Yeah. That's a big one. I just tend to want energies to be one, more harmony, more trust in one another. And I'd like to build a team within my business at some point where I can implement that as I would in my family. Because, you know, employees, as you know, employees and families that you have too, like it's small society. And then you send them out to big society. So it's really to work on the betterment of people, to listen, to be more attentive to people's needs. And also, one of the reasons why I create, I'm in fashion, is I'd love people to enhance their identity, to be more assertive of who they are, and by creating jewelry, advise them of what they could put on that will contribute to that. I'd love to meet everybody who's seen my jewelry, who's bought them, liked them. I'd like to thank them and for the support. But, you know, to meet people would be something that I'd love to do in the near future, if possible, of course. Also, I have this concept called urban imprints that I'm very excited about.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's urban imprints, and I've done the first batch of Arizona for the merch only. Urban imprints is, I take sheets of silver and I hammer the sheets of silver against the floor, against urban furniture or a rock it could be, and then out of that sheet that has the relief of that place, I make jewelry so that the person can wear the ground relief of that place. So we physically go to places. We've had people go to Nepal. We've had people go to Japan for us, Paris, Milano. And for Arizona, I went to Papago Park. You can discover what it looks like, the whole making of here at the merch or online. And it's kind of a different way to create souvenirs and memories. I'd like to send love and light to everybody, and hope to see everybody soon, physically.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ava.
Thank you, Kim.